Now we'll be implementing routing for these links on the header. So we'll go to the Visual Studio Code. In order to implement routing in the React application, we will have to install React Router DOM package. React Router DOM. So there is a package, React Router, and React Router DOM has additional dependencies and packages on the top of React Router. After the installation of this particular package, what we'll do is just install types. As this is our TypeScript project that we're working on, we'll be installing types for the React Router DOM. Now once the installation is completed, we'll go to the source folder and we will be adding a file routes.tsx. Now in this particular file, what we'll do is export a router function. In this function, we will be defining the path for the routing. So let me just specify path over here. Then we'll give the element. Let the first element be app, as this is the main file in the application which is rendering all other files. Let's just import the app element, and for the app element we'll be defining children. So basically what we are implementing is nested routing over here. We'll be giving a path and then mentioning an element. So how do we mention the path and element related to the children for the app element? Currently we have app component which is containing tile and header component. Now header has to be static across the application. So what we'll do is define two more components over here. One will be property listing. Let me just mention the tsx file related to it, and then we can have another component that can be home.tsx, just using the code snippet over here. Let me just give the class as text light because currently we have dark background. And in property listings over here, what we'll do is we'll be taking the code from app.tsx file now and moving it to property listing. So you'll need to focus over here that earlier we had rendered all the code through app.tsx file, but now what we want to do is move this particular code where we are having tile component that will be moved to property listing. So let me just use the code snippet again, and what we'll do over here, move this particular portion where we are displaying the tiles to the property listing component, and then the functions where we had fetched the data from the API, that is also moved to property listing now. We'll just make sure that we have all the imports. And then one for the tile. Okay. One for property listing as well. It's not giving any suggestion, so let me just take the code from here. I'll save it. Now we have our two components ready. One is property listing and one is home. So what we'll do is We'll go to our routes.tsx file and then simply mention the element over here. And let me give another path over here, property listing. Okay, and saving it. Now over here, we have the structure ready for the routing. This is to be utilized through the links that we have in the header. So we'll go to the header.tsx file. Over here, we have links through which we want to navigate. Now this link has to be renamed to link from the router DOM. Earlier we were using bootstrap links, but now what we are doing is using the links from React Router DOM package. And over here we have to mention the to attribute. This says that wherever we want to navigate to, we have to provide the path for it. So we have the path in our routes.tsx. And what we'll do is we'll take the path from here. See, for the home, we have kept the path as blank because we already have the path as / for the app, which is the root element. So basically for home, we don't want to mention any string in the path. That is why it is kept as blank. But for, okay, over here, it has to be property listing. For property listing, we want to mention the path with a string and we have given it over here. So this will be utilized in the to link over here. And for home, we'll be keeping the path as blank only because that is what we have mentioned over here. So I hope that you all are understanding the connection between the routing structure that we have defined over here and how we use it in the links. We'll just save this. And over here, what we'll do is just give it the class as navlink. So basically the bootstrap class will be applied even though we have not used that element. I'll just save it over here. And now in app.tsx, what we have to do is over here, we have removed all of the earlier code that we were rendering for the property listing tiles. We have moved it to property listing.tsx file. But if we want to implement routing through this app component, we have to mention the outlet element. And this is also from React Router DOM. I'll just save this. Now there is another change that we have to make. And that is a very important change that we are making. In main.tsx, if you noticed, the rendering is happening through app element. But now what we want to do is we want to mention router provider over here because we have given the outlet in app.tsx file. So that is why we want to simply mention the router provider over here. And this router will be imported through routes.tsx file. So this is how we have made the connection through router provider. We are going to render app.tsx, which is having the outlet element, and in the header we have given the links with the mentioned paths, which will be rendered through these definitions. The elements will be displayed according to the path provided. So let's restart the server now. So over here, you're able to see that without any path, our home element or component is getting displayed through routing. I have not clicked on any of the links as of now. Now what we'll do is click on listings. And if you see over here that we are able to get our listings for properties through this particular link. We are navigating to slash property listing, and we are able to see the data fetched from the API as we were doing before also, but that was happening through app.tsx file. But currently it is happening through property listing component, and we are navigating to it through this particular link. Now if we just go back to home, we are seeing the home component. This means that we have implemented routing in our application successfully.